Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Since I'm still recovering from my hysterectomy, I am unable to do any kind of decorating or crafting. So I thought I would share with you some of my past spring DIY thrift flips that are in a French country shabby chic style. Now, I am hoping that sometime next month I'm going to be back doing my decorating and crafting. Now let's check out the projects. So here are the items that I had done that I got from the thrift store. Could be working on these three finials here. I got them for three for $9.99. They weren't on sale, but that's still a great price. These are actually from Hobby Lobby. I like to use Deco Art Light Buttermilk or Warm White. Now I'm using the light buttermilk on here, and I do like how these are black already, so I don't have to paint them black, because I want to do some distressing on these where some of the black will be popping out from here. Now, I like to hand paint. I know a lot of people spray paint because it's faster, but I myself like to hand paint because it does relax me, because I just can sit here and watch some of my favorite shows and paint. It's probably going to take a couple of coats on here for each of these, and then I'm just going to be distressing them with some sandpaper. All right, now that these are all painted, I'm just taking 150 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to be rubbing off the paint to show the black. Just want to get on all the little edges here at the top. Get some of these fancy details to come out. And I like to do it lightly at first because I don't want to take too much off, because you can always go back and take more off, because then you don't have to repaint it if you mess up. All right, so here's how they all turned out. I did a little bit of styling. I think these are adorable. Now, my next item is this candle holder, and it is from Party Light, and I got it for $2.99. That is a great price. Again, I'm going to be painting this with the same color, but I am not going to be doing the distressing with the sandpaper. I'm actually going to use some wax in a brown color that I got from Walmart. So I'm going to go ahead and probably do a couple coats on here and get the wax on. Now this is the wax that I'm going to be using, and I'm just going to take my stencil brush and tap it in, just like so. And then I have a damp piece of paper towel here, and I'm just going to wipe this off gently. I'm not doing this super heavy right now. Again, you know, it's best to go ahead and do it lightly. If you want it to be darker, then you can put more on. All right, so here's how it looks, all done. I love how this turned out. All right, the next item is another candle holder that I found, and this one is from Pottery Barn. It was $2.99, and I actually got that half off of that. I can just imagine, you know, how much this would have been. Again, I'm going to be using the light buttermilk. Probably going to need a couple coats. Now I'm taking the same sandpaper, and I'm just taking a little bit off at a time here. Yeah, I liked how this was already black, so I didn't have to paint it black. Now this one was super easy to do. So I have another little styling here on my table with the 2 candle holders for spring. Now I found this little Trinket box many years ago, and you can tell that this was an old Hobby Lobby one, and look at that price. Was it $23.49? I don't remember what I paid for this because I took the sticker off, but I know it wasn't very much. I bought it because I loved all the details on it, and I knew I was eventually going to be painting it. So I'm finally getting around to doing that. Again, using the light buttermilk. It's probably going to take a couple coats, and again, I will be using the brown wax on this. I just love all the details in this little Trinket box. And I'm going to keep the inside gold because I do like that color. All right, now that I have a couple coats on, I'm just going to do the same technique that I did before using my stencil brush. And then taking that damp piece of paper towel and gently wiping it off. All right, so here's how this one turned out. I want to do this one a little bit heavier with the brown. Now, I had these other 2 little candle holders here that I got many years ago from the thrift store, from Goodwill, and I believe I only paid like about $2.25 a piece, and these are old Hobby Lobby items. I originally had them, they were a different color, and I painted them, with this wash, but now I'm going to be doing it differently, so I'm going to do 2 coats of the black paint, and then I'll be taking the sandpaper, and then taking, well, actually not the sandpaper yet. I have to paint them with a light buttermilk, and then I will be taking off some of the light buttermilk paint to show the black underneath. Just always remember when you're at the thrift store and you see something that you love, the details on it, but not the color, just remember you can always paint it the way you want it to be. All right, here they are. I think I want to do a little bit more distressing on here. Bring out some more of the black. Let's do a little bit more on this one. And here is how I style the 2 candle holders. And the little Trinket box. All right, for my next project, this is a sign that I found at the ARC thrift store. Now here's its regular price from Hobby Lobby. And I got it for $7.99, but wait, it was half off. Now this is in really good condition. You know, it's nothing that I need exactly. I don't really do anything with this color blue, but it is perfect for a thrift flip. Now I'm going to be using warm white on this one, the Deco Art Americana paint. And I'm just going to be painting a few coats just to cover everything up, because this is going to be going shabby chic. Well, I decided to go ahead and take some of this tissue paper that I have and Mod Podge it on. I didn't want any of that blue color to come through, so that's why I did just do 2 coats. You can see it's still a little splotchy, but that's okay. You can't see that blue anymore. So let's just get a whole lot of Mod Podge on here and get the tissue paper put on. Now, unfortunately, this tissue paper isn't long enough to go the whole length, so I'm going to have to piece it. Get it all smoothed out here. I'm also going to be using the antique wax here. Kind of wanting to blend it in just a little bit, because unfortunately with this piece of tissue paper I couldn't match the pattern. I had to use 2 different sections, but most of this is going to get covered up with something else anyway. But I kind of wanted to darken this section up because it just wasn't blending right. Now this next piece here I've had for a few years. It was $4.99, but I do remember getting it half off. It's a little rough, beat up a little bit, but that's okay because it is going to be getting painted. I'm going to use that same warm white and probably put about a couple of coats on here. I've had this piece of wood molding for many years. I got it in a bag of odds and ends at a thrift store, and I've just never done anything with it, but I think it will be perfect for this project. Again, we're going to be using that warm white, probably a couple coats. Now I'm going to be taking some of my lace here that I have, some old vintage lace, just going to Mod Podge it on. I think this dresses up the bottom of this lace is so easy to use on curved items. I also have this other piece of lace here, and yes, it is a darker color, but it's going to get painted. Going to Mod Podge it on too. Just kind of dress up this little area. Once this dries, I will be going over the two pieces of lace with the warm white. Now that it's all dry, I'm going to be taking my hammered iron and I'm going to be bringing out all the little details. I just like to use a damp piece of paper towel that I dip into the paint and then lightly put it on. I'm also going to go on the inside just a little bit here too. Alright, so this is all done now, and I do like this little piece of burlap ribbon with some lace on it, and I'm just going to hot glue it on right here. It's a little raggedy here on my lace, and I thought this would just kind of cover that up. All right, now that it's done, I need to attach it to the board. Just going to place it where I want to, and I'm just going to put a screw in here. As you can see, I did use my E6000 and glued on the wood molding. I also used that hammered iron to go along on the edge of the frame here and on the molding. You know, unfortunately this screw's a little too long, but I'm going to go ahead and put it all the way through, probably cut it off the back, and then I will put a little bit of touch-up paint to cover up the black of the screw head. So here's how it looks. I think this is gorgeous. I did put some of the lavender inside of it for spring. You can use it all year long. You know, with some, you can put different flowers in here, but I thought it looked really pretty for spring with the lavender. Now, my last project is this piece of art that I found at a consignment store, but I did get it 70% off. Now, I knew I wanted to do something different with it, so I wanted to take the cross off because I want to put something behind it. Unfortunately, it did tear off some of the paper, but like I said, that's okay because I'm going to be fixing this up. I love the details in the cross. Again, I'm going to be using the warm white. I'm going to paint the cross here. I'll probably put a couple coats on. Now that I've done a couple coats, I'm going to take that hammered iron and just put it on my damp piece of paper towel here so I can bring out all the details of the cross. Now the next thing I'm doing is I printed off the old rugged cross. This is my favorite hem, and I did tear it around the edges to make it look more raggedy. Just taking some Mod Podge, going to Mod Podge it on. And I don't know if I'm going to smooth this out all the way. I kind of like it being wrinkled a little bit. We'll see how it turns out. I did go ahead and took the hammered iron color and went around the pages and on the frame. So I'm just going to take some E6000 and glue the cross back on. I think about right there. Then I'm going to let this dry. So once it dried, I decided to take this little bit of lace trim that I have, some creamy ribbon, and I have some of this bronzy looking chain. And I'm just going to hot glue these pieces on right here in this corner of the cross. I'm also going to take some of these vintage buttons that I have and glue them on top just to cover up the little messiness right there. Alright, so here's how it looks. Now let's see how I styled it. I think this looks so pretty here. Alright, my sweet friends, that's going to do it for the video today. I hope that you enjoyed it and I could give you some ideas on doing some of your own thrift flips for spring. I want to wish everybody a very wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.